Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here with Malik, curators of the Conflict Archive. We left 100 Years' War last time, but the war isn't over. Today we pick up where we left off. The air hangs heavy with defeat, thick with the scent of surrender. English banners now fly defiantly over Paris, a stark reminder of their dominance. The Treaty of Troyes has cemented their grip on France, leaving us to ponder the weight of such a betrayal. Henry V, now heir to the French throne, basks in this triumph. Meanwhile, Charles VI, lost in his madness, can't muster a protest or rally a defense. We witness the fragility of power and the consequences of ambition laid bare.
Aurelius, you make it sound as if the French were merely passive, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The people were far from silent. In the shadows of that despair, hope flickered in Orléans, just waiting for a spark. Joan of Arc wasn't just a voice. She was a force that would ignite a revolution. She inspired everyday folks to rise up, to believe they could change their fate. That spirit, that energy, it was contagious.
The siege of Orléans was truly suffocating. English forces surrounded the city, their siege engines looming like dark giants over the defenders. The sounds of battle echoed through the narrow streets, a cacophony of desperation and defiance. Yet, in that chaos, Joan arrived, as if called forth by divine providence. Her very presence seemed to shift the tide. We often underestimate how a single individual can alter the course of events, even in the bleakest of moments. History has a way of surprising us.
Aurelius, I think you're missing something important when you frame Joan as just a catalyst. She was so much more than that. She became the very embodiment of resistance for those people. The defenders weren't merely inspired. They were truly transformed by her presence. Joan's unwavering faith ignited a spark of courage within them, pushing them to stand tall even when despair threatened to take hold. That kind of impact? That's no small feat at all.
Her charge was undeniably courageous. French soldiers poured out behind her, clanging swords against the English in a cacophony that echoed across the battlefield. The chaos of battle was palpable. You could almost taste the tension in the air. But remember, Malik, victory never comes without a price. The blood-stained fields bear witness to that cost, where hope and ambition collide with loss and despair. We must ask ourselves what these sacrifices mean for the future of nations.
But those costs shape the narrative in ways we can't ignore. At Les Tourelles, when Joan was struck, it wasn't just a wound. It was a moment of profound defiance. She kept fighting on, even with the pain coursing through her. That act wasn't just about her. It embodied the spirit of her people. It showed everyone that hope could still flourish, turning a brutal siege into something far greater. A symbol that inspired countless others to stand firm against despair.
Joan's resolve was nothing short of remarkable. The siege was finally lifted on May 8, 1429. The toll it took on both sides was staggering. But as the gates of Orléans swung open, we witnessed the dawn of a new era. For the first time, the English grip on France began to falter, and there in the distance, a glimmer of hope sparkled. It was a small light, but in history, even the faintest flicker can ignite a revolution.
But Aurelius, you're missing the bigger picture here. The aftermath of that battle was so much more than just a victory banner. It was bittersweet. The cost wasn't measured only in the lives lost, but also in the spirit of the nation. Picture those mothers, desperately searching for their sons among the fallen. Their grief didn't just fade away. It lingered on, shaping the future of France just as profoundly as Joan's triumph ever could.
You're not wrong about the aftermath. The coronation of Charles VII in Reims marked a significant shift in our fortunes. Yet, we must remember that it was also a fragile victory. The English remained a formidable force, their shadow still looming large over France. The war was far from over, and we were just beginning to grasp the complexities ahead. This struggle would demand more than just a crown. It would require unwavering resolve and strategic acumen.
And that fragile victory only made Joan's eventual capture feel even more heartbreaking. In 1430, she was betrayed by those she trusted and handed over to her enemies. Her trial? A cruel mockery of justice aimed at breaking her spirit. Instead, it transformed her into a martyr. This injustice ignited a fire in the hearts of the French, rallying them to fight even harder for their freedom. Joan's struggle became a symbol of resilience in the face of tyranny.
Her execution in Rouen was a calculated decision by her enemies. They thought it would snuff out the flame of rebellion. Instead, they unwittingly created a rallying cry. The English, in their hubris, failed to grasp that martyrdom fuels a cause more fiercely than any sword ever could. They underestimated the power of a symbol. Each time her story was told, it rekindled the fire in the hearts of those who dared to resist. And that's how movements are born.
And that's the crux of it all. Joan's legacy didn't just change the battlefield. It shook the very foundations of the war. The English grip on power weakened as chaos swept through England. With Henry V gone, factions were battling each other, each trying to seize control. Meanwhile, over in France, Charles VII was busy reforming his forces, rallying his people, and setting the stage for what could be a new chapter in their history.
A tumultuous period, to be sure. The war wasn't over, but the landscape was shifting in ways we hadn't expected. English towns in Normandy and Gascony still held sway, but the tide was changing. For the first time, hope flickered in the villages. People were starting to envision a future beyond conflict. France was on the cusp of something new, and we could sense the excitement in the air, even amidst the uncertainty. Change was coming, and it was palpable.
That's where we leave it this time. 100 Years' War continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Conflict Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.